Hey, for Friday, June 26, 2020, this is the Pro and Con Show. And just as it says on my tablet, I'm your host, Michael James Ott. Welcome to the show. As always, welcome to the show. Trying to encourage us all to be better citizens, to be better informed, especially. And that means, focusing on the who, the what, the where, and the when, and ferreting out that information because, as I have said in a few hundred videos, probably up till now, hey, we've got to be better citizens. We've got to figure out the truth here, the pro and the con, the good and the bad, the for and against, hence the name of the show. And the other thing I'm going to hit on because it's coming up is Independence Day. So I was advocating months ago that we would all just get in the streets and greet each other and talk about our neighborhoods and how we are committed to each other to be better citizens, right? To listen to each other. With the pandemic going on, obviously face-to-face conversations and stuff are much more problematic. I would never want people gathering because of this, but you still can go in your neighborhoods or go to the downtown area or wherever you might be at these time frames. So 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific time. Whoever you are, you can still go and approach other people. Just keep the 6 or 10 feet away from them. Hopefully wearing a mask. These two things are going to be very, very helpful. So please do them, but then say, look, I do appreciate that I need to be a better citizen. I'm hoping that you will be. And how do we be a better citizen? We have to be open to listening to each other. Okay, we're not going to agree on all the views, but you'll be surprised, and I swear this is true. If you will take the time and just talk to somebody and say, well, what do you think about whatever issue? And ask this question: how did you get where you are? What experiences, what data, whatever, tell me about how you got where you are on this issue. And if you would, allow me to tell you how I got where I am. And you're going to find out that people very rapidly come to positions that are much more coordinated and far less polarized is the great word. So far less polarized than you would think, given the rhetoric and all the stuff that goes on social media. So anyway, so part of being a great citizen is gathering the right information. And so one of the issues that people have is they'll be conducting polling, okay, which is very limited sampling. It's supposed to be scientifically done, and it is. They have these algorithms, and it helps them select people that they think, based on their typical responses to questionnaires and surveys and stuff like that. These kind of people are somewhat representative of the United States in general, or maybe there's polling the state of New York. Okay, somewhat representative of the people in the state of New York, and so whoever, the New York Times or the Economist or the Washington Post or the Chicago Tribune or any of these papers will then conduct a poll amongst 1,000 people, 2,000 people kind of thing, and then publish those results. And the problem is that either intentionally or unintentionally, some of these so-called news organizations, they end up polling and presenting information that generally supports kind of their leaning or their viewpoint. This is very often the case. And so a great source is you go to Real Clear Politics. Let me just show you what that. So here it is. Okay, Real Clear Politics. So just put that up there. And if you Google Real Clear Politics, you'll find the website, very, very quickly. And what they do is they compile all of the different polling results, and they just put it in one place. So it makes it very easy for you to look through and say, okay, here's the latest poll results, and you can see, for example, I just look at this table. So there's polls in this one conducted by Siena, by Rasmussen Reports, Susquehanna, Trafalgar Group, NPR, PBS, CNBC, Fox News, Times, Siena, and so on. So these are the kinds of organizations that are out there conducting these polls. And then they have just a quick snapshot of the results. So for example, just today, a couple of these polls got released. So in New York, in the state of New York, just polling the state of New York and trying to figure out how the people in the state of New York are going to vote. Siena did a poll, and the results were Biden 57, Trump 32. So Biden by 25 points. And then Rasmussen did a separate poll, President Trump job approval, and the results were, again, released today. Approve 43, disapprove 55, so therefore disapprove plus 12 points. But then, just a few days ago, so like on Thursday, June 25th, Fox News did some polls. And I don't see New York on here, but they did like Florida. And so they had Biden 49, Trump 40 in Florida. New York Times, Siena, on the same day released a poll, Biden 47, Trump 41. So 6 to 9 points there. Let's see if there's any other Florida polls here real quick. I'm in the state of Wisconsin. So on Monday, June 29th, Trafalgar Group did a poll, and it said Biden 45, Trump 46. So Trump plus 1, okay? But if I look at Wisconsin on June 25th, a poll by New York Times, Siena, Biden 49, Trump 31. So Biden plus 11. Big difference, right? Big difference between those polls in a couple of days. And it's not, there's, nothing major or catastrophic has happened in just 3 or 4 days. The difference is who these people are polling and their methodologies, and sometimes the way that they ask the questions, and they get a different result. So this is why, and so if you go back, for example, Wisconsin, Marquette did a poll back on June 24th, which is just the day before, and their result is Biden 49, Trump 41. Let's just keep going back through here and see if I can find a couple more Wisconsins. Well, now we're getting, okay, so Wednesday the 17th, so this is a little over a week old now. Wisconsin, CNBC, Biden 48, Trump 44. Anyway, the whole point being, the polls themselves are just inherently, not perfectly accurate. Okay, that's for sure a statement. But secondly, be very careful about just listening to polls that come from you from a particular source. Whether it's CNBC or Fox News or Breitbart or MSNBC or whatever. Be careful about the polls that just come to you or are told to you or told to you by this particular source, because very often, again, that stream of information is intended, it's got a purpose behind it. And very often it is to manipulate you by trying to hit emotional strings, pluck the emotional strings to try to cause you to forget that there's other sides or other information out there, okay? To get you riled up and angry so that you shut off the fact that these issues and everything about us are fairly complex, and therefore always pro and con, good and bad, for and against. Okay? So anyway, shout out to Real Clear Politics. You can see I have trouble saying that, but I wouldn't have to say that 20 times quickly. Real Clear Politics. Shout out to them. I thank them for consolidating this information and making it easy for you and I to get a feel for the distribution of these polls. And so yeah, the end of the show. So for the Pro and Con show for Friday, June 26th, this has been Michael James Ott, your host. Until the next show, bye for now.